All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Dear Single Woman Conversations. I am Shantae Williams, and I am so excited to start the series of conversations with mature adults as we talk about living single and dating the opposite sex. So I am like super excited, you guys. So I want you guys to ask questions. Make sure you comment in the comment box. Let us know what your thoughts are. What do you think? What are your opinions? And it doesn't matter if your opinion is different. So we welcome different opinions. We know we're not always going to agree. And so this is not what this is. This is us being honest, being truthful about what it is to live single and to date the opposite sex. So I am super excited. Today I have Coach Ebony with me, and she's going to be joining in the conversation on tonight. So you guys help me welcome Coach Ebony.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing tonight?
Awesome. Yes, I'm super excited. So Coach Ebony, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I am Coach Ebony Nicole, the writing coach and publishing engineer. I help faith-based men and women to get their story out of their head and into a physical book. That's what I do in a gist. I'm also a 12-time published author. I am a co-host for a radio show, a podcaster. I am the vice president of the Rochester Black Authors Association. Child, what else do I do? I wear a lot of different hats. I'm active in my community with a lot of programs that deal with our youth who are near and dear to my heart. I'm just a woman out here trying to make her mark on the world.
I love it. You have so many amazing things going on. So I absolutely love that. So I applaud you and all of your greatness. I love it. I'm here for it all. I am here for it all. So listen, y'all, in case y'all didn't know, today is National Hot Cocoa Day. So y'all know I love me some hot chocolate. So let me know in the comment box, do you like hot chocolate? Are we BFFs because you like hot chocolate? All right. I need to know, do you like hot chocolate? So listen, tonight's conversation is going to talk about um and I've seen this and I've been guilty of this myself, but the danger in rushing to have ownership in relationship and not establishing friendship.
Oh, well,
So
for the
yeah.
record, and I know this is a single ladies thing, I just want to, for the record, I am a single and available and open to dating woman. Okay, so yes, I'm available just in case anybody was wondering.
Listen, that's what I'm talking about. So, one of the things that I've noticed, like I said, I've made this mistake in my own life before, and I've seen this repeated in other women and men. You know, I think the way culture is set up, the way social media platforms um, operate, people are so quick to want to say, oh, this is my man.
Yeah.
This is my woman. Oh, look at Bay. Look at us. And put these picture perfect social media posts up, but yet we don't know them.
Right.
We
At all.
haven't established anything.
I think that's just for the effect of looking like somebody finally wants you. That's why I think it's done. For me, I want to marry my best friend. I have to know you as a friend first. And then I say this in why I believe, as aligned with what you were saying, we need to be friends first. Because if I like to be around you, I enjoy your company. If you're easy to talk to, then for sure we can easily, maybe not be easy, but easily shift into being something greater. I think we rush into stuff just to say, I got a man. Look at all y'all single women. Y'all gonna die with cats. Y'all gonna die with dogs. But yet, sis, 6 months later, you're single. Talking, I'm focusing on myself. But
Not
if
even
you
six
would have
months.
had the friendship first, because friendship is solid, you know, if I can trust you as my friend, if I can let you come into my home as my friend, and then I maybe leave and run out somewhere, then I can trust you. Um, if I could tell you my secrets and my secrets not come back to me via someone else, I could trust you. If I can share with you my heart matters and you don't um talk down to me, tell me, talk at me, talk down to me, how do you communicate with me? Then we solid. But I think sometimes it's just rushing just to say, I got one. Aha, look at me. I got one.
Listen, I absolutely agree with you. I think we missed the whole gathering data piece.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Because one thing that I've learned in hindsight is when we gather data, sometimes we may determine, you know what, this really needs to be my best friend and not my boo.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think we have mishandled a lot of relationships that could have been very valuable and meaningful long term because we were trying to romanticize them.
And that's the sad part, because I'll say this as a Christian woman, as a follower of Jesus Christ, whenever I meet a man, I do ask God, why him? And I just started doing this in the last 2 years. Started asking, who is this man and what do you want me to do with, through, for, and to him? Like, what's his purpose in my life? And I'm be honest with you, I have some of the most well-rounded, emotionally healthy, mentally healthy. They crazy, like, because we all crazy, but they are some amazing men. Amazing men. It was just, God's like, I need you just to be his friend. Say no more. And that's what it is. So, but I'll just say this. One of my friends, I'm like, you shoot your shot, you're not gonna miss. You shoot your shot, you will make the basket, okay? And if in the ball is in your court, you will not miss. But we're solid. I know I don't want to keep saying it, but when I say solid, I mean I can lean on them and they can lean on me. If they need something, if I need something, it's reciprocated. It's not one-sided. It's not them always calling on me or me always calling on them. It's just a genuine respect, love, and admiration for each other. So men are dope. I would encourage any woman, be a friend with a man. I'm telling you.
Best thing ever. But I want to clarify what I mean by gathering data. I'm not talking about, his favorite color, his favorite food, his whole government name, his mama name, his birthday. That's surface stuff.
Seriously.
I'm talking about, what is his aspirations in life? How do you guys fit with one another? Right? And I'm not talking about in between the sheets.
Say it again for those that's coming in.
Listen, I'm not talking about in between sheets. Here's the reality of this part. You can get a drunk on the corner and they'll know what to do. Right? I'm talking about having those heart-to-heart conversations and really getting to know who he is on the inside.
Absolutely.
Right? What has he always wanted to do with his life? A lot of times we do things, but it's not necessarily what we wanted to do. We kind of stumbled into it. And sometimes we're trying to stumble out of it, but we've made a living off of this. And it's not easy to transition out, right? So have you seen him in all states of his emotions? Do you know what he's like when he's happy, when he's sad, when he's mad, when he's down? Do you know when he needs to be lifted up? Do you know when he needs to be encouraged? Or are you always the one saying, gimme, gimme, gimme?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So when I say gathering data, I ain't talking about surface stuff.
Right.
You guys need to talk about, how does he handle finances? And I'm going to say this, and you're probably going to tickle. In the culture that we're living in today, you need to ask, was he born a male?
So that's all that we have for tonight, everyone. I just want to say thank you for allowing me to come onto your show. Girl, that is the truth. And that's men too. It's now, I know your audience is both men and women. So men
both ways
need to ask,
both ways.
Were you born?
Yes, because science is so good.
Transition to something.
You never know.
No, you don't. You won't. But
I've seen some on TV, and I'm thinking,
you know what's so funny? Men don't particularly recognize, but it's like men can't tell. But women, we be staring like,
we looking at everything.
Girl, I know you not girl, but your name. You're not really girl, are you? But I see you, boo. I see you cute. But I know what the truth is, But I don't knock it. It's how you choose to live your life, of course.
Absolutely. There's no judgment.
But those are questions that need to be had. Those are seriousness. those tough conversations.
Yes, that
Are
is
we,
a tough question to ask. Like,
yeah, because
how soon do you ask that question, right? So you kind of have to gauge if you think this is somebody that you may want to go a little further with in life, you need to be clear on some stuff.
absolutely, because you can't be
You
talking
need
about
to
having a
know,
family
do
with
y'all
someone
got
who's
any
born.
mental health issues? Like I listen, nothing in here is meant to be a joke. I'm being serious
Yep.
because a lot of things are hidden
Yeah.
until they get to a point and it's just like I've never seen that side of you before.
Yeah. Oh, I battled this. Oh, let me tell you this side story about mental health. This was a few years ago. I was dating this guy, and he said to me he is bipolar and schizophrenic. I was like, what? So he during this was within a week of meeting him. He told me this stuff. We were on the phone talking. He also revealed to me that he had done 10 years in prison. I'm like, well, what did you do? It matters. What did you do to end up in prison for 10 years? And he told me that he has a short temper. Okay, so what did that short temper lead to? And he said it led to him killing somebody. Immediately, no for me. It was a no. It was a no. Not only because this is all in a span, I think the paranoid schizophrenia, the bipolar, and the murder thing came out through the course of one day because I had to get off the phone, talk, all this stuff. So this all came out, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, girl, sip your whole hot cocoa because I was like, yeah, no. And I think those tough, even now, I'm 40 now, so I just turned 40 on the 14th of last month. And so having tough conversations are very important. Those, wanting to know your favorite color, your mama name, your best friend, all that stuff you can find on social media. If you see he wear a particular color or she wears a certain color all the time, that's probably his or her favorite color. If you see somebody comment, oh, that's my baby, hi mom, then you can kind of determine if that's just like their Facebook mom or their actual mom. You can look back at photos, oh, that's her mom. These are things that you can find out on your own without having to ask. But those upfront conversations, I say, have them before you have any type of exchange with energies.
Yes.
Sex.
Yes.
These need to be had because sex clouds the judgment and make you fall into places that you don't belong. You think you're in love, but you're not. You're still in lust. And lust will not allow you to ask those tough questions like, so what are your plans? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Not even that. Sometimes nowadays you got to, with the way people lives be shifting, where do you see yourself in a year?
Listen, and I'm gonna throw another one out there that may be controversial. One, do you have any biological kids, and do you take care of them?
That whole part.
What is your relationship for the women asking the men? What is your relationship with the mother of your children?
Listen, because I don't want to come into a toxic situation, and by toxic, it's not always arguing and stuff like that. It's just you either have no relationship with your child's mother that's on a positive level or a negative level with the relationship with your children. What is that? What does that look like? How are your communication skills? Because if you text message all day, that's poor communication to me. Some people are okay with text, not me. I need to be in your presence. I need to hear your voice because I can be sarcastic sometimes. And if you don't catch that, you'll think I'm serious. So I need to hear your voice. I need to know when these are, yes, which relationship with your mother. But let me tell you, some people believe that the way a man treats his mother is indicative of how he'll treat you. That's not even accurate. Because some men have a great relationship with their mother and have poor relationship with women that they date. All because of a particular woman back 10, 15 years ago broke his heart and he's still treating all women like he wanted to treat her, but ended the relationship. So now everyone else is taking a residual on that. And then you have some men who are at peace with not having a good relationship with their mother, but treat their women very well. So that's, you gotta, just because he treat his mom right doesn't mean he's gonna necessarily treat you right.
Right. And on the flip side, for men, and there may get some kickback from the ladies, but it is what it is. You need to ask her, have you ever been pregnant? Because one thing that I have seen happen, and it's not for all women, but if you either whether you can have a natural miscarriage and it's still not able you to have children,
Yeah.
or you could have had multiple abortions and it
Ooh,
affects
yeah.
your ability to carry a child.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
things matter when you're talking to a man who wants to have children.
Absolutely. And I've had friends who got into a relationship with women who were done having children. And I'm like, well, you want children, right? Yeah. So why would you waste your, to me, it's wasting your time
It
because
is.
she cannot give you what you desire. And I had one friend who they were married, got divorced, and they were together 7 years, got divorced, no children from him, but she already had children. So the relationship with the kids ended. And now, it's difficult. You have to make sure, like for me, again, I'm 40, never been married, no children, but I desire marriage and children. So the conversation I do have with men are you out here dating with the intention of
Mhm.
finding your wife or something less? And I'm not saying that a woman that's a girlfriend is less than a wife, but your intentions is less. Your intention is not that high level of marriage where you just want a long-term girlfriend, or in some instances, men say, I'm not looking for anything serious. Well, in my case, I am looking for something serious. And I appreciate you trying to shoot your shot, but I will have to block that because I'm intentionally dating to become a wife. So,
You
yeah.
know, I love it. And I think having integrity
Hmm.
in conversations matters. Why would you mislead somebody into thinking one thing when you have intentions on something else? For a
Absolutely.
woman to mislead a man who doesn't have children, who wants children, but they know he's a good catch. And so they
Yep.
say, oh, yeah, and then come to find out they either don't want to have children, they can't have children,
Mm.
or either trick them
Heartbreaking.
into, I just think that is evil.
Heartbreaking. It is very much
It's
so because you're
evil.
wasting this man's life, and likewise with the woman. If like I talked to a guy and he said he already has 2 sons and a daughter. He said he does not want more children, and I said that's okay with me. That's fine. Then we cannot move forward past this point
Right.
because I'm not going to give up my desire for children to be with you. I will not. That's one compromise I will not. Marriage and children are two compromises I will not make. So I don't mind, we get married, move to the city, state, all that. That's whatever. I could do that. I'm not a full-time entrepreneur. I can work from anywhere in the world. Okay. So those things don't bother me. And I can always come home long as they're plane, trains, automobiles, Uber, Lyft, I can always get back home. Okay. So those things don't matter to me. But what does matter is the structure of family and the having of children. And he said he didn't want any more. So we're just friends. And we're both okay with that. It's
And I
not
think,
difficult.
yeah, it's not. I
It's
think
fast.
sometimes we fear being alone, so
Mhm.
we settle, and then we're mad that we're settling,
Resentment.
but we're not willing to have the tough conversation and say, you know what, I thought I could make this work, but
Yeah.
I really cannot. So
Yeah.
you just go through the motions, and we're living this lie,
Yeah. And
and
it's
you'll
just
never be
wasting your
happy.
time. You'll never be happy because then you'll look at this person like, if I would have just said, if I would have just said no, if I would have just told him, no, you can't, don't call me no more. Or I'm not going to, if he would have said, I'm not going to call her no more because we can't get to these compromises. We can't get through them. You'll resent that person. And eventually it'll lead to divorce. If marriage is your goal, it'll lead to divorce because you're not happy. The part of your soul will be like, you truly settled. And this is not what you wanted.
Exactly. And see, when you're gathering data and you have these tough conversations because we're adults,
Yeah.
we know how to communicate, you can avoid all of these pitfalls. Now, I'm not saying that you can avoid all of them because sometimes we put our best foot forward,
Yeah.
so we can draw in the good catch on both sides. I've seen it happen, right?
Yeah.
But when you know you've done your part to initiate, to try to figure out, once you give me information, then I can make the best decision for me.
Absolutely.
I'm
Yes.
responsible for making the best decision for me. And the best decision for me is um is indifferent to your opinion.
Yeah.
Because I can't live by your opinion. I can't live by your
Mhm.
desires. Now,
Mhm.
there are going to be some compromises in relationships to make the work, but you should not compromise things that matter to you.
That part.
Foundational stuff, right?
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
I'm if I know that I want to get married the white way and I want to have children, then those two things are non-negotiable. So while I'm gathering data, if I pick up, oh, you don't like kids, then I need to be honest with myself and be like, dang, he fine, but he don't want kids.
Yep.
I need to know it ain't never gonna work.
Absolutely. Especially likewise with men. If you know you're talking to a woman and she says she doesn't want children, she doesn't like kids, and if you have them, you need to take that consideration. She doesn't like children, which means you can never count on her to watch your children. You can never count on her to treat them in a nice way because she doesn't like them. So some people will sacrifice what they know the other person doesn't like just to have them. And again, that's what I was saying. Like people, jump into these relationships just to say I got one.
Just
But
as I got one.
this person does not like children. They don't like, especially any type of lifestyle that you live. They may not like. If I'm living my life and I want to bring you into my fold, either you like it or you don't. If you don't like it, don't try to force me to change how I'm living my life. If that's why I don't understand like when someone like if you get with somebody who goes out to a club all the time, and that's for both men and women, you get with someone who loves the club scene. How you get mad if they still want to be in a club? You can't be upset because that's part of their lifestyle. That's what they choose to do until they are ready to stop. You can't be upset with them. You need to find someone who does not like to go to the club. They are out there. But sometimes, again, lust can drive us far and make us crash. Whereas we should be focused and going after what we are seeking, and be a smooth ride.
I agree, especially if you meet them in the club. Understand that you may not be the one to take them out the club. I don't
Right.
care how magical you think you are. It's an individual decision, right? And so another thing that I see amongst Christian women,
Mm-hmm.
you date non-Christian men and you think that you're the one that's going to baptize them into the faith.
I'm trying not to holler. I'm trying not to holler. Wait a minute.
Listen,
that's not our job. Our job is to be Christ-like. That's what Christianity. That's where Christians come from. Is Christ-like people. Be as Christ. Walk like Christ. To walk like Him. But you can't pull a man in the world and bring him into the fold of Christ, thinking that you can change him. No, he needs to come into the body of Christ on his own. God needs to work on him. Jesus needs to be able to talk to him and say, hey, or get his attention in some way, somehow, and make him come. You can't do that. Because if he goes after Christ just to get you, that's the wrong reason why he's going after Christ. And my Jesus is going to be mad.
Listen, and not only this, let me throw this out there. Let me just throw another, then I'm going to sip my hot cocoa.
That's so
if
funny.
You are that type of person, let's just say that you're able to draw him in, right? Let's just say, you just pray heaven down and God work on your behalf. Now, what happens when he comes to God and he gets himself right, but he don't want you?
That part. And because we are all, listen, oh, girl, you about to, benediction, okay? Listen, that goes the same for people who are healed as well, and those that are not in the body of Christ. When Christ snatch you up, he changes everything about you. And what you used to like, what you used to be attracted to, you no longer are. And if you're no longer attracted to it, then you can be with this person. They could have introduced you to God, and you could have introduced them to God and everything. Like, oh, we're going to get married. This is going to be my wife. I pulled her out of the club. Or this is my husband. I pulled him out of the streets. And he get right with God, or she get right with God, and like,
and all of a sudden, you don't look that good no more.
I don't want that. Right. I see you now. God, open my eyes. You're not even for God for real, for real. Like, I see you now. I don't even want this. So yeah, no.
Do you remember? I'm trying to think of that movie. It's an older movie, y'all. I'm finna date myself. And I want to say, oh my gosh, I want to say Vivica Fox was in it, but there were sisters, and Bobby Brown was in it, and he was jacked up. And
Oh,
one of the sisters was dating him, and she cleaned his teeth, gave him a new
yes. It was
wardrobe.
Regina King. No, Regina Hall.
Was
No,
Regina Hall in
not
there?
Regina Hall. What's it?
And
No.
honey, he got right, and all of a
Yep.
sudden, he wasn't nobody.
Yes. Yep. I remember that.
All her money on him.
And he left.
To mind. That's what happens. We think we can clean people up, and then once we clean them up, they're ours.
No.
We don't have that power or control. Let me tell you something. That is equivalent to a Hitler.
Oh, come on, how so?
So think about Hitler. Hitler was demanding.
Mm-hmm.
It was his way or no way.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't do it, there were consequences. So you didn't have a choice, right? So anytime I want to have that type of power and control over somebody, it's a dictatorship.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm not giving you the option to choose anything but me.
That's it.
How do you think that person is going to feel once they realize, hold up,
right,
I really do have an option?
Yep. And you're not the only one.
No longer you. But I thank you for all you've done to help me get cleaned up.
Yep.
Now go find my king or my queen.
Yep.
And now you sitting on the side of the road sucking your thumb, talking about all I done did. And that was your fault.
That was literally it. And I think where sometimes when we and I say we, because I was once one of these women who was a rehabilitation center for men.
Come on here. Say
I was a rehabilitation center for men. I was so attracted. There was something inside of me, and it was the brokenness in me. So the brokenness in me was attracted to broken men. And I thought, in all of my, Lord, I just want to thank you for today. I just thank you for this time, space, and opportunity, Father. All in my prayer life that I can, Lord, just touch him right now from the crown of his head to the bottom of his feet, Lord.
Listen, we got the terminology down.
Like, oh, girl, yes, okay. Run through all the Psalms and pray for this man, right? And you're doing all of this and drawing and thinking you're going to heal this man, but it's only so much you can do because you don't know, or I'll say me, I didn't know what parts of this man was broken. So how can I heal what I'm not even aware is broken? God is the healer. He said, I'm close to those who are brokenhearted. And I mend the brokenhearted. He did it to me. So I know the work he did, I can't perform on nobody else. It's like me trying to perform surgery on myself.
Listen,
I'm about to die on the table.
Beyond the surface. You can see surface brokenness, but understand there's layers to that.
Oof.
And when you think that you can penetrate the layers, let me tell you, you are set up for heartache, for pain, for frustration, for depression, to make you feel less than as a person because you're trying to figure out why you can't heal it. What is it about you? Because you're just so phenomenal that's not healing this person.
But that's not your job. That's not our job. That's not our position. God is the one who does that. And just like building a man, I used to build a man too. Oh, I see your potential. I'm going to help you get there. I no longer need potential. You either are or you're not. Listen. If you're not, you can go find somebody else who's going to help you become it. And then if you see yourself right back around this way, then sure. If not, it's okay. Keep it moving. But I'm no longer dating potential. Because potential, you can be it or not. You have the potential to become it or not. It's like someone who says, I want to go to medical school. Are you actively in medical school right now? Or what are you doing? Oh, I'm just thinking about it.
We have to go from potential to purpose.
That part.
They are not the same.
No, they're not.
A potential man and a purpose man are not the same. You can see potential in anybody.
I got my 3 P's. I need him to be on his purpose. I need him to have a plan. And I need him to have purpose, plan, and passion. Because those 3 I can get on board with. If you got a plan and you can exit, if you are actively in that plan, you're pursuing that plan, I can get on board with you because you should be able to, with communication, be able to tell me what your vision is. What are you going after? Because me as a strategist and an entrepreneur, I'm ready. Like, oh, you want to do that? You're already doing that? Okay, that's good because my wheels start spinning then. And so you got a plan. Let's go for it. So now I see asking you where you gonna see yourself at in a year, or where do you see yourself at 5 years, 10 years? What does those plans look like? You can share them with me, vice versa. Passion, your passions will get you up every day. Your passion is something you could do for free. Your passion, or like if you can volunteer your passion, okay, that's your, what is your passion? I want to know, because if you got something that you're passionate about and you tell it to me, then I'm more like, I like that. That's something I want to do with you. Invite me to do these things that you're passionate about. And then purpose. Purpose comes from God. Like, you gotta be on your purpose. What your passion wakes you up, but your purpose gets you moving. Because you know when you leave this earth, the purpose for you or staying here has been fulfilled. So that's just, I need those 3 P's. Like,
Yes.
yeah, I need those.
Listen, let me throw this out here now. Your passion can't be you 40 and you trying to be a rapper. I don't see a plan in that.
So anybody else? She just snatched the wig off. I don't got a wig on, but
it has to make sense, right?
It
and
does.
You have to be honest. And this goes for both sides of the table. It has to make sense.
It does have to make sense. Absolutely. Because if it doesn't make sense, I can't get behind it. It literally has to make sense. I'm 45 and I'm trying to, because Snoop Dogg became a rapper at, sir.
He's a household name.
Sir.
I'm just trying to figure out. You're going to drain me, because that means every dollar I bring in, you trying to put it at studio time. Yep. How we going to eat? Who buying diapers? Who paying daycare? Who putting gas in the car?
You.
Man, listen, April said, or a comedian. Now listen.
Okay, now don't do a comedian, because my brother's a comedian. He's actually pretty good. And that's...
Listen, I don't want to knock nobody's dreams. I'm not telling you can't do anything because you can. I'm saying for me, at where I am in my life, if we are around the same age, there are certain things you just cannot start to do.
You can't. And I think that when it comes to what you're going to start to do, if that is going to take money out of the house, we need not do it. We that need not be an issue, something that we want to start. So if you want to be a rapper, that's going to take money out the house. This is going to take a lot of money out the house. If you want to be a comedian, that might take time out the house of you being home, because you have to do shows and things like that. But the finances, I don't believe that's going to be a heavy hit to the home. So it all depends on what it is that you want to do. And I just said comedian and
okay,
because that's what we use. But
you said at 40.
Still trying.
Now, April, I have to agree with you, honey. Now, listen.
Still trying. Depends.
I'm not saying that you cannot start any career at 40, okay? Yeah. Because I'm a little bit over 40. And so, 40 doesn't look that old anymore. No, you know what I'm saying? Once you hit a certain age, you realize, oh, that's not old.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, when we're talking about long term.
Yes, absolutely.
We're talking about investing our lives with one another, right? Now, if we're just, friends, hey, you do you.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about spending the rest of our lives together, we need some stability.
Absolutely. So in that case,
money anymore.
There has to be a 9 to 5 or 10 to 7 or something happening during those hours. You're gonna have to work. And eventually, I believe any man in his right man or woman and his or her right mind will say, this is one dream I might have to let go of, because it's not bringing in any money. It's not moving forward. I've been in this same space for X amount of years. There's nothing coming out of it. I need to buckle down and get focused on a real career. So yeah, I'm all for that. There is some things that you might have to let go once you reach a certain age, because once you get to a certain age, I don't know, I would say 45 plus, you need to give it up. You need to it needs to be put to rest, because you're bordering 50. And then from 50, it just goes by quickly. Next thing you know, you're 60, ready to retire. But yet you have nothing to retire with. And so here you are, 74. So I was like, I got to get up and go to work, where you should have been planning in your 40s.
Right. Now I will say this. What I'm not against is somebody wanting to go back to school to finish a degree.
Oh yeah, I'll be off for that.
I'm like, so I'm, we're not talking about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about people who may be going through midlife crisis
Mm-hmm.
and they wake up and think, you know what? I'm gonna be a rapper, yo. What was that movie with Gabrielle Union? And they was at that restaurant.
That's right. Yeah, Julia. I don't want to make a fool of you. It was Tyler Perry movie. Daddy's Little
Daddy's
Girls.
Little Girls.
Daddy's Little Girls.
And he was like, "You got this, right?"
He's like, "You got some hot sauce."
Let me say this.
That's what vetting comes in. You got to vet these men. Come on.
Yeah, listen, this is why you need good male friends, because they will help you vet.
Yes, they will.
Right?
Yes, they will.
And this is why, men need good girlfriends, because they will help you vet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, been there, done that. Listen. And here's, as women, right? My preference. Like, I don't mind us taking turns paying the bill.
Oh,
like, I'm not that person who says he has to spend X amount of money. Let me tell about some of y'all little vain women. That's why y'all single.
Oh.
Okay. Y'all got these rich tastes that y'all can't even afford. But y'all want somebody to drop a band just to take you out to dinner so you can have a cute social media picture and something to tell your girlfriends. Listen, mature people say, "Oh, you got this? Well, I got the next one."
That's right.
But now listen, if you always paying the bill,
that's the problem.
I'm gonna need you to reevaluate why you still there.
That whole part. Absolutely.
Because you obviously are not financially stable. And we need to talk about that. Like, and we all get in hiccups, right?
Mm-hmm.
I need to know how long you've been in this hiccup.
Is this going on 2 years? What is happening here? Have you not gotten out of this? Something is wrong. She said, "Bloop."
Listen, I'm just saying, because it seems like every other day I see these posts about these women who are getting mad because they had these unrealistic demands of these men. And in my mind, I'm sitting here thinking, where y'all find these women at? And why are y'all entertaining them? You mad because he didn't send a car to come pick you up because you didn't want him to come to your house the first day? And are you serious? So you're comfortable with him sending a stranger to your house who could ultimately kill you? This is the times we living in. You mad because he didn't send a car to your house to pick you up to make sure you got to where y'all was meeting at safely, instead of you getting in your car and just meeting him? Like, seriously, who raised y'all?
I think it's the social media flex that people are looking to have. Like you said, people want to take these elaborate photos and post them on social media and share them with others that really don't matter. And to the end result, to the end of your relationship, they really don't matter. And I think for me, and I said this, I explained this in my book, that I had unrealistic, unexpressed expectations. I didn't know at that point that they were unrealistic. But now I'm like, looking back at them, I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't have held them to that standard, because that made no sense at all. Putting all this pressure on them for something I never expressed, and pressure that was not needed for where we were in our relationships. Because at that time, circling back, we didn't have those upfront tough conversations. Had we had them, I would have said, "This is what I expect of you. What do you expect of me? Can we meet our expectations? No, then let's move on. We can be friends."
I love what you said. What do you expect? What do I expect? This is not a one-way street. And I think too many times women have these high expectations of men, but when they try to set something, "Oh, you don't know me like that." But you was bold enough to say that he needs to do X, Y, and Z. Like, I'm so confused. I'm like totally confused. But another thing that you discover when you have these gathering data time is when you look at his friends. If none of his friends are in successful relationships, you need to pay attention, because they talk. And men do the same thing. If she got women who always dogging men, Listen, they talk. Birds of a feather flock together.
Yes, yes.
I don't care how old they are.
This is one thing I recommend to women because I did it. I know it works. For women to get their wise counsel of women. If you are a woman who desires marriage, get you a group. It doesn't have to be a large group. It can be, my group is only 3 women who are in healthy marriages. I mean, these women put in some 20 plus years. Okay. And it wasn't just me just saying, oh, you've been married for 30 years. Okay, I'll bring you in. You can be my wise counsel of women. No, it was me spending time with them, listening how they speak about their husbands. Now, I always say this, like, do their husbands get on their nerves? Absolutely. And I'm sure they get on their husband's nerves too, because sometimes they get on my nerves. But but it's how they speak lovingly about their husbands, how they talk to, how they take care of him. Like, I got one, my mentor, we were going to go out, a group of us friends, we were going to go out. And she was like, well, my husband gets off work at 7. We were going to meet for dinner at 7. She's like, my husband gets off work at 7. I'll meet y'all at like 7:30, 7:45, because I need to make dinner for him and make sure he's okay before I leave. So we like, girl, we'll shift the whole dinner date to 8 o'clock just to make sure you're not rushing. And that's what we did. Why? Because she got to take care of her home first. And we respect that she respects her husband and their home first. That's what you got. That's why if all of your friends are single, you cannot get advice from your single girlfriends or from your single boys. You can't. It's detrimental. You can't teach me this. Like my wise counsel of women, I go to them whenever I need relationship advice. I don't go to my single girls because we're on the same boat. It's like, if we are in a quicksand, I can't look at you like, girl, get me out of here. You like, well, girl, I can't. There's somebody, I think one of the ladies' name was Tiffany. If Tiffany is on the bank, and we like, girl, help us out. She's like, okay, I'm gonna throw this rope to y'all. Tiffany can help us out because she's already out of it. She can give us some wise advice because she's already out of it. She's already been through the process. She knows I'm gonna pull you out slowly, because if I rush, the sand gonna move too quickly. It's gonna take you down. But I'm gonna pull you real gently, and you just go with it. So she knows, she has that experience. So that's where we go to. And also got to make sure that those who are pulling you through or out is actually giving you advice that will work. It may not, everything that works, just because it works for somebody else doesn't necessarily mean to work for you. I understand that. But at least give you some solid, sound-minded advice, instead of the, girl, if I were you, I would
run.
No. And that's why I told my single friends, I said, listen, your girl out here dating. If I don't come to y'all until after we determine this ain't gonna work, don't be mad at me. Okay? It's because I don't want your advice. And I don't want to give advice to my single girls about dating, because, like says, I'm trying to be a wife. I'm not trying to be a girlfriend. And I got friends who don't want marriage. So I can't talk to them about marriage and my desires for that, because that's not what they want.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's got to be careful
to listen.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why the wise counsel of women is very, very, very important, because those are women who have your ear, and who will know the matters of your heart. Because if you don't find safety in them, if you don't find security in their wisdom, you are wasting your time and wasting your words.
Yes. I agree. And so, as we have said today, y'all, gathering data before rushing to post a picture. Listen, date in private, marry in public.
You better say, okay, people taking notes, say it again.
Date in private, marry in public.
That's it.
Don't be so quick to be able to say, I got somebody, and you don't even know them.
Oh, I know he liked to play. I know his favorite team is the New York Giants. Okay. and I think it's a social media culture world. I think that's where it's coming from. It has to be. He said hi to me. What's today? Tuesday. He said hi to me on Monday. Friday, we're in a relationship. February, I find out I'm pregnant. May, we broken up. Now I'm a single mother.
And you mad and you're bitter and you can't stand them.
And the same thing vice versa for men. I met her on a Monday, met my girlfriend on Friday. She told me she was pregnant in February. We broke up in May, and she won't let me see my child.
Destructive.
You chose her. You chose her, sir. And sometimes, I'm just going to sound a little sad, but when people choose the wrong partner, I'm not necessarily feeling sad for them. Because when I ask, how long were you guys dating? Oh, not long. What's not long? Just a little while. Yeah, I don't feel sorry for you. I have no sympathy. Why? Because you didn't take the time out to truly know this person. You didn't. I would recommend, if you are dating, for women, it's going to sound like, what? What do you mean, coach? For women, shut up on the dates. Be quiet. Let him dominate the entire conversation. This is if you are truly in the mindset of being in the long-term relationship that leads to marriage, right? Be quiet and just let him talk, because the matters of his heart are going to appear. If we just, I used to do this. I used to dominate the conversation. I used to give the men all of the weapons of mass. I used to tell them everything, and then they would return it to me as weapons of mass destruction. That's how I would see it. That's how it was to me. And I told you everything I don't like, and I tell you about my exes and what they did, and oh, I'm not like that. I won't do that.
Exactly.
I don't gave in. We don't have relations. Now I think we're all in love. We're in a relationship now. And the same thing I said about them, you turn around and do. Why? Because that was always in him. He just suppressed it until he got what he wanted. So that's when I tell women, like, I can only recommend, again, when it comes to speaking with single women, it's more of me trying to get them, pushing them to Jesus. But at the same time, if they want a little bit of advice, I always tell them, look, just be quiet, sis. Just let him talk. I'm telling you, you get so much information. And just ask questions.
That's it.
Ask questions.
We want to reveal so much, and like you said, we give them all the ammunition they need to say all the right things, to do all the right things, to give us this fairy tale, right? It's really a mirage of what we want.
Yeah.
And then all along, like you said, once they get whatever they get, and it's not always sex. Sometimes it's just, whatever they need in that moment.
Yeah.
Right. Once they get it, they're done.
That's it.
And you're left hurt, confused, and like, well, I thought you loved me. I only know you for 6 weeks.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That's not. And the same thing with men. You got to be careful. Yes. Because especially a lot of men these days are leading with their money and their finances. What do you think you're going to catch with that?
Somebody that knows how to spin the card.
Right. And I don't feel sorry for men that are like that end up relationships like that, because that's what you're fishing, and you are using your money and your finances as bait. You're going to get what you get, sir. And I have no sympathy for you, because that's what you put yourself out there to capture, and that's what you got. And so when I say, be quiet, it's just so that you can hear and be more logical and not emotional. I don't talk about my exes because they no longer matter. I don't look for my exes in anybody because they no longer matter. I'm looking at you. I want to know who you are. I want to know about you. And so that, like you said earlier, that gives me an opportunity to make the decision that's best for me. And that's what is happening. And so I date. Well, I won't call it dating. Well, we court just to see if this is worth our time. And over the last 2-3 years of courting different men, no, I'm okay. We're good. I tell my friends, if I'm like, he's cool, that we're out and the guy approaches me, and so they are there, so they see the initial interaction. But they ask me, oh, well, what about John Doe? Girl. Yeah, no, it's a no on John. And it's just because we talked and I got to hear what he had to say instead of feeding him different things. And so one thing I do help men along with how to effectively date me is teaching them how to effectively communicate with me, because the text messaging, like I said earlier, no,
Translation gets lost.
yes, like the WYD, no, hey, let me help you how to effectively communicate with me. When you be intentional about reaching out to me, so that you're not wasting my time, you're not just sitting on the phone, there's dead air, because I'm gonna tell you, okay, well, my refrigerator running, let me go catch it and get off the phone with you. Like, seriously, because you're not talking about anything. And so I can find something else better to do with my time, even if it's, vacuuming, because it's a time waster for me. So want I appreciate men who are intentional about me. And so I share that this is how you effectively communicate with me. Please be intentional when you pick up the phone. If you have nothing to say, don't even bother.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even bother.
I love it. And the last thing that I want to mention is when we're gathering data, you need to ask them, you know, are they dating more than one person?
Yeah.
Because in men's world, single is single.
Mm-hmm.
And we view single differently.
Yeah.
Single to them is freedom. And they can date whoever they want to, when they want to, how they want to, because they're not committed to anybody.
Yeah.
Sometimes for women, dating is I'm just doing one man at a time,
Yeah.
you know? And so you need to ask them, hey, how do you view dating? Are you dating multiple women right now?
Mm-hmm.
And you need to let them respond. Like don't overtalk the conversation.
Right.
Pause
And
and let them respond. And vice versa. Men need to ask the same question, because there are women out there who, and I'm not saying that either this is a bad thing. This is just preference.
Yeah.
This is how some people decide to do it and some people don't. So you need to know that if they're dating multiple people, you're not their priority.
Exactly. Exactly. And you gotta, it'll be like, what's that movie? Hunger Games. May the odds forever be in your favor. Because if he is or she is dating more than one person, then you would have to make yourself appear or stand out more than those other people.
Because they have a rotation, baby, and they got the rotation to a science.
And you know what? Hey, to all of them be the odds. Because it's that's a great question to ask, because you get to know, okay, if you're dating all these people, how do you get the opportunity to know everyone?
Right.
What would they look like to you? For me, like how would you pursue me?
So that right there is a red flag. If you're looking for something serious, they're not.
Yeah.
Not at the moment. I'm not saying they won't be 3 months from now, but
Don't wait around either.
you need to accept the reality of what it is to date.
Yep.
Not 3 months from now.
Oh, y'all might be ready later on down the road. Okay, well, we'll just be friends. And you got to make sure, either if being friends with this person, being friends with that woman, being friends with that man will not work, end it. It's okay. You have nothing, you lost nor gained anything. It's okay. Let them go. And just don't check in. Hey, I'm just checking to see how you doing. No. You're not a doctor. Do not do checkups. You're not. We're not being doctors unless you are a doctor. You got a PhD. You need to check on your patient. That's different, bruh. Sis, do your job. But we don't have PhDs. I am not Dr. Ebony Nicole Smith. I am Coach Ebony Nicole Smith. I coach people. I am not about to check in on you. Hey, I'm just checking on to see how you doing. You still doing? No, sir, I'm not doing that. And we have to stop that. Cancel, block that line of communication once we determine through conversation that this is not going to work. It's okay. And the fear of loneliness is not real. Because when you vet the right person, or when you're vetting these people, if you don't do it properly, if you don't do it effectively, then you will find yourself in a relationship taking Facebook photos and Instagram photos, but yet once the phone is down, once all the likes are done, you're alone anyways.
Yeah. And see, this is the norm for some people.
Yeah,
Some
that's
people,
normal.
you know, some people don't see anything wrong with it. And like I said, to each his own, this is no judgment.
Yeah.
But you have to know how you want to date.
Yeah.
And you have to have that tough conversation, and you have to be ready for an answer that you're not going to like, so that you're not shut up.
Yep.
I think sometimes we have such high expectations when we first meet somebody that our spirits are so crushed. And then now we're being led by the fear of never meeting somebody. So you're thinking, well, it's not that bad. Anytime you have to say it's not that, is letting you know that it really is.
It really is. Oh, it's not that bad. He only no. It's like
when
right. It's like if I stump my toe, because we are everybody. I don't know what it is about pinky toes that like to find the edge of stuff. Okay,
that's your salvation.
like, come on,
you be like, Jesus, come on, you didn't see that.
What's happening, Lord? You didn't send your legions of angels to camp around my pinky toe. What is happening, Lord? So if you find yourself just like, I lost my thought thinking about a stumped toe, Lord.
Listen, you need to ask him, how do you respond when you stub your toe?
Girl, Jesus.
If they say,
I got it. Thank you, Lord. I remember. So if you stump your toe, it hurt, for a little bit. Maybe towards the end of the night, it might go away. And depending on how bad it is. But if you find like a week later it's still throbbing and it's still tender, that's an indication that something is wrong. Even if you wake up in the next day and your pinky toe is still hurting, don't be like, oh, well, it's just, no, something is wrong. Go get that checked out. They may not be, they can't put a cast on it, of course, but at least that this is broken or fractured. So they might, wrap it up, whatever have you. But if you ignore it, it's just going to get worse, because then next thing you know, you're not walking on that foot. You're putting more weight on the opposite foot. So now that is hurting this part of your body. It's just a trickle down effect. So the same thing with relationships. If sis, bruh, that's not it. It's okay. I cannot stress it enough. It's okay.
It is.
Because Tyler Perry is one of my favorite persons. And in his story, he talks about 7 consecutive years putting on his plate and no more than like 50 people coming to his show. He never gave up. He just did it the next year. Then that 8th year, he blew up. Now he's a billionaire. Likewise with dating. If you talk to one guy, it does not work out, it's all right. Because every no you get, or every no, I'm good you get, is going to be one that's like, yeah, this is worth it. This is good. This is good for me. Likewise for men, for every time you vet a woman, you determine, nah, that's not her. It's okay. It is okay. Because you're going to meet that one woman and be like, oh my God, I see why I did not work with the other people, because this is her. Yeah, it's okay.
I love it. Oh my gosh, we have said such an awesome conversation, Ebony. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
For joining us. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Dear Single Woman Conversations. This has been an amazing conversation, and I hope you guys got the gist of today's message. Actually, reminder, and that is to gather data.
Yes.
Before you make a decision to have ownership.
Yep.
Don't do it the opposite way. Don't set yourself up. Get the information you need so that you can make the best decision for you, because you might be missing out on a best friend because you're trying to make them your boo.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to, that person can actually help you vet the one that you're supposed to be with. So don't look at every opportunity as this is the one. That's desperation. We're not desperate people.
Say it again for those in the back.
Okay. We are not desperate people at all. Right. So we don't have to settle in life for anything, especially in our relationships, which is one of the most important things that we will ever do in our life.
Yep.
And so you want to make sure that your relationship, that you have genuine peace,
Mm-hmm.
you have genuine happiness, that you wake up every day saying, God, I thank you.
Yes.
That you feel like, man, I'm in love all over again.
Yep.
That type of relationship is available.
Yes,
And I don't want you to feel like just because it hasn't happened or if you had some messed up ones, that it's not ever going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just your mind playing tricks on you. And that's just your emotions.
Yeah.
Right? And so in real talk, no shade. Sometimes we need to have professional help to help us process those emotions so that we can be healed and healthy.
Yes.
If I'm always in a hurt place, I'm going to continue to make the same mistakes over and over again.
Yes, you will.
And so we have to be responsible, right? I'm responsible for how I choose and handle my relationships.
Yeah.
I'm not responsible for how they do. I'm responsible for me because I'm the only person that I can control sometimes.
Yep.
So I can only be responsible for me. So if I know that if I see a pattern, I need to be able to look in the mirror and say, hold up, Shantae.
Yep.
Last 3 have been the same type, different faces.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
them, it's you. Why you keep
common denominator?
And sometimes we have to be honest with ourselves.
Yep.
Because we're not having the honest and tough conversations. We're not vetting. We're not gathering data.
Yeah.
So that we can make informed decisions.
Yeah. Then you won't regret later.
That part, because listen, some of y'all then reproduce with people you hate. And I'm just going to leave that right there. Every time you look at that beautiful baby,
you see the mother or the father. Yeah. And it's because you didn't know them. You honestly, you didn't know them to share. And for men, you didn't know her to allow your seed to grow in her womb. And for a woman, you didn't know him to share your womb with him.
Yeah.
It happens, but you at some point it cannot be a cycle. It cannot be an all the time thing.
No, it can't, y'all. So we have to make sure that we're gathering data. That was the whole gist of today's topic and conversation was we have to be willing to gather the data, not surface data. We got to get below the surface, y'all. We got to get to them layers.
Yeah.
It's just like an onion. We got to pull all the layers back to get to that core. So we can say, okay, now that I'm looking at the core, do I like what I see?
That part. And sometimes you determine once you get there, you know what, this is not what I thought. When you pull back the surface of things, that's when you see the truth of what is keeping it together. It's like a house that's built on sand. It looks good from the outside, but you give it a year and everything underneath is going to shift. And you're going to wonder, why didn't this? Because you didn't have a home inspection. You didn't have somebody who is well versed in home construction and building take a look at it and tell you, ma'am, this house is built on sand, and with the way this area is eroding, this house gonna fall off this cliff in 2 weeks. But sometimes we don't want the consideration of those who are looking in at an objective eye. We don't want their opinion. But I'm gonna tell you, as a single woman, you want the objective eye of someone else that you can trust. That they will say, you know what, Eb, I know you like him, but girl, that ain't it. That's not it. You need those people in your ear. Now you got to be mindful that sometimes when you are collecting data and you sharing your data with someone else, with your friends, that they don't do the girl, that's my cousin, uncle, sister, baby daddy, brother. Okay. Girl, because they all said, you got to kind of check your source and where you're getting this information from about the person. But for me, like the last year, I would say dating has not been bad. It's been annoying. but it hasn't been bad where it's like, I want to throw in the towel.
That part.
It hasn't been to a point where I want to throw in the towel or where I'm like, Jesus, what is happening here? Making me go to the altar and all. No. But it's been interesting just learning men. It's just like, and everyone is different.
Because when you slow down, you also learn about you.
Oh yeah.
And
Yep.
so sometimes you think a certain way
Mhm.
until you ask a question and you hear a response that gives you a different perspective, and then it makes you pause and think, you know what, that kind of makes sense, or you know what, I don't think I really like that, because you've heard it now.
Yep. When you
So
experience something that you want.
yes. So while gathering data may seem like a long process, it is a beneficial process.
Yes, it is.
So
It
I would
is.
rather spend the time gathering data than to spend the time crying myself to sleep every night.
That whole part, trying to figure out what happened. Nothing actually
Doubting
happened.
yourself.
If you like really think about it, nothing happened because you didn't know anything.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
Exactly. Thank you,
Yeah.
April.
Thank you,
Yes,
April.
yes. So y'all, you guys know I'm hosting these Dear Single Woman conversations in promotion of the long awaited Dear Single Woman book that is coming out at the beginning of next year. So you can pre-order your copy today. Go to the bit.ly link, DSW23. For all of my fellas, listen, this is not a male bashing book, because I love men. Okay, let me just put that out there. Okay, I don't do the whole male bashing stuff, right? And so this book talks about both sides of the equation. It's not just a woman's side. However, I am encouraging my women to do their work, because there is a responsibility.
Absolutely.
So, and you have to take ownership.
Accountability.
Your part. Listen, we don't want to be accountable for nothing. That's why we always taking shortcuts. Our shortcuts are not easy. So, as an entrepreneur, I invest in business coaching because there are some things that I don't want to have to learn the hard way. I invest in information so that I don't spend 2 years doing something I can get in an hour.
Hello, somebody.
Right? So that's the same process when we're gathering data.
Yeah.
I need to know why we having coffee at Starbucks, or we don't went to, the Cheesecake Factory or whatever. We had us a little jazz night. Yeah. I need to know in them nights that, we may be splitting the bill versus we done spent 20 grand on a wedding and now we got to spend 20 grand on a divorce. I'm not trying to do that part.
Me either. I'm one and done. I'm telling you. Till death do we part. Do you plan on dying, sir?
That thin line between love and hate. We ain't gonna really try to kill y'all, but
no, I'm not with that jail life. I'm good. I'm good. I appreciate my freedoms and all that it's awarded.
Yes.
I'm good.
But in all seriousness, y'all, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you gather data.
Yeah.
And then you take time to analyze the data that you've gathered.
Absolutely.
Don't overlook stuff. Don't try to justify stuff. Yeah. It is what it is. I believe the late Dr. Maya Angelou said, believe them when they show you the first time, because they meant it.
Yes.
Now, they may not have meant for you to hear or see it.
Yeah.
But they still meant it.
Yeah.
So you have to be willing to accept the reality.
And don't go in. This is one thing that I had to stop doing. And I'm just gonna be real transparent. I used to meet them like, ooh, and then think about the future.
Mm-hmm.
That messes us up too.
Oh my God.
Be present. Present. Don't think about what we could be. Think about if we can even be now. And sometimes we can get caught up in, our friends like, oh, girl, that's your husband. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Don't call him like my sister, my older sister. She good for calling people my bruh. Oh, that's my bro. No, sis. Or no, I'm sorry, not my bro. Oh, brother-in-law. No, he's not. That's why I don't even introduce men to my family, because I don't need you to be intertwined in that yet. No, because I don't need nobody to be like, oh, this is Ebony's man. No, we're just friends. That's it. We're just friends. We're just two people getting to know each other.
Peer pressure.
That's
Family
it.
pressure is the worst pressure. And I think, and I know that men go through this as well, but I think it's more so on the women, because depending on age, the family's like, you past time, I'm gonna need you to hurry up.
I'll get
And
that now at 40.
that pressure causes additional stress,
Yeah.
and it makes you doubt who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It can make you think, well, wow, something must be wrong with me because I'm still not. And all of my cousins that got married and having babies, and I'm still the only single one. Listen, I'd rather be single and happy
They're married and
than
miserable.
married and miserable any day. Okay? So just think about how you want to live your life seriously, and then make choices that's going to get you to that point. And nobody wants the same thing. Don't apologize for what you want.
That whole part, but be realistic about what you want.
Listen, if you
Don't
can't meet your
apologize for it.
expectations, don't expect anybody else to.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to take him out and spend $1,000, don't expect him to.
That whole part. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. The most expensive restaurant I've taken myself to was here in Rochester, New York, was Pinot Vino. And it was me and my friend. We go out once a month, and we just, it's like just the two of us, her and I will go out on a fancy restaurant. We get dressed up and everything, right? It was 120, 130. That included entree, the dessert, and a couple of drinks. That was 130 that I spent on me. So I can say, you know, God asked me, where would you like to go? Well, here are a list of my favorite restaurants, and Pinot will be on there. But these are all restaurants that I visited frequently because I like the food. So it's not, I'm not going to say there's this new steakhouse. I forget what it's called, but I was told it's very expensive. Well, I've never been there. So I'm not going to ask you to take me. Why? Because I don't even know if I like anything on the menu. Come on. I don't, no. These are the places I'd like to go to. These are places that I've been to. Pick one and let me know what time I should be there. I don't need you to send a car for me. That was funny when you said that. I was like, they be out here asking for cars to be sent. Okay, sis. Like, you can ask what you want. I can't. I, like you said earlier, you can't knock people for asking for what they want. But you gotta be careful, because if you ask somebody for something, this goes both ways, men and women. If you ask somebody for something, you got to be prepared for them to ask you for something.
Exactly.
Because there's going to be an exchange. Either way, how you put it, there's going to be an exchange of something.
Y'all think these men dumb? They real smart. They
Men are logical. Women are emotional.
They are real smart. So while you think you something, talking about, yeah, take me here and blah blah blah, they talking about yeah. So for the weekend, I want to go to the Mets game.
And you sitting there like,
why you looking like a deer in headlights?
Right, you want to pay for that? Yeah. I just spent Wednesday, we went to dinner and I spent $400. These Met tickets are $350. So you gonna give me the cash, or you gonna go online and buy them on your credit card? What you gonna do? There's just, you have to know, it's like a check and balance thing. It's like checks and balance. And I believe if you know what it is that you need, and that's when you were talking about non-negotiables. I talk about that too in my book. Your negotiable, your non-negotiables, your negotiables. If it's non-negotiable, stand firm. Do not waver in that thing. Do not waver. And you got to know the difference, because if you meet a person and they are on the outside of your non-negotiables, you can't look at all your negotiables and think that they're still the person. No, because you're like, I'll say this. So a lot of, not a lot of women, but many women want men over 6 foot. That's negotiable for me. I don't, I'm 5'5". If you're at least 5'8", I'm good with that. You know, and then I was, like, oh, well, I'm 5, the guy's 5'6", 5'7". Yeah, I'll consider, very much consider, because I've dated a guy who was shorter than me, but his presence and his attitude was drawing me in, because he was so confident and his height didn't matter, and then I've known men who are taller and their attitude just repels me. So, and they were not as confident. But I just say that, like, the height thing, because that seemed like to be the norm with people. But if you are like me, I don't mind a man that's under 6 foot. So that's a negotiable thing for me. It's not something that I'm like, oh well, he's nice and everything. He check up all the boxes, but I need a man 6 foot and he 5'11". You about to miss out on the greatest man to ever walk past you, all because of a couple of inches. Okay, sis, you deserve him in the first place.
And listen, don't even know how short he is from 6 feet. But I didn't say that. I'm just saying.
I don't ask men how tall you are, unless I ask my guy friends how tall are you, because I'm like, dang, you got huge feet. How tall are you? Like stuff like that. That's what that would probably come in at. But for the most part, I don't care. I really, really don't. But that's just Ebony. It's Ebony. But
Right.
My non-negotiables are you gotta know Jesus. You gotta have a relationship with Christ. Not know him, of Jesus by way of, whatever have you. But I need you to have a relationship with him. I just can't. I won't even entertain it. I won't. It's an immediate no for me. I don't care how much money you make, how fine you look, how good you smell. Now you smell good. I might, for a brief second,
at least you be like, yeah.
Oh God, you smell like heaven.
And then when you come to, you be like, oh, okay.
But it's still no. Right. But it's still no. So these things are, I know I had my list of my non-negotiables and my list of negotiables, my needs versus my wants. And I did it based on when I was looking for my home in 2015. I wrote a list of everything I needed in a home and everything else that I wanted. But if I got it or didn't get it, it was okay. Like a garage. I've never had a garage. Since I was a little kid, we never had a garage. And so when I moved out, got my own apartments and things like that, I never had a garage. So I wanted one. But if my house didn't have one, it wouldn't matter because I was used to it. So my house doesn't have one, so it's okay. So that's what but I needed a minimum of 3 bedrooms. I got 4. So I got what I needed. I was not accepting a 1 or 2 bedroom house or 2 bedroom house, which do exist, but I was not going to go for it.
Right.
Yeah. When you know what you need, there is no such thing as settling.
Nope.
But if you don't know what you need, you'll just go with anybody because they said hi.
Exactly. And that's why you have to have conversations.
Yeah.
Sometimes in conversations, you realize things that you really need. because in that moment, you realize what it looks like. Yeah. And you say, you know what? I really got to have XYZ.
Yeah.
That's why you have the conversations. Conversations validate, your list.
One thing I also want to recommend, and this is something that I do myself. When I go on first dates, the only thing I want to do is have fun. That's my only objective. I don't come with pre-thought out questions. None of that. I don't want to go into the deep conversations because if I can't sit across the table from you, if we go to dinner or if we go bowling, I love bowling. I talk junk like I'm a professional when I know I'm not. I'm a gutter ball the whole night, but I'm having fun. If you can take my trash talking,
come on here.
We can go further. We can then do another date and talk about something. We can have those serious conversations can come along. But if I cannot enjoy your company, there's nothing else I need to know about you. I don't care who your mother is. I don't care about your favorite color. I don't care about your hopes and your dreams. Why? Because I don't like being around you. So if going into a date thinking the only thing I want to do is have fun, that's our only objective. And if you cannot meet that objective, if that objective is not met, don't do it. And don't do it because I don't like being around you. When I was around you, that first date, I felt like I couldn't be. Of course, we always put our best face forward. Just like my makeup, I put my best face forward. I put my best self forward, but I'm still me, And if I feel like I have to walk on eggshells on a first date, I know I'm gonna be at the egg factory if I get a relationship and be in a relationship with you, and I don't want to do that. Do you have a sense of humor? You know, if the waiter mess up your order, are you gonna knock him out? You know, if we're bowling and I happen to win, which I don't win, I just talk so much trash. Like, yo, I'm telling you, I got trophies. I don't have not a trophy in sight, but I got trophies. I've been at this since I was, 8 years old bowling. It's a lie. I used to use bumpers and stuff like that, but I would talk so much trash, like I'm this world famous bowler in gutter ball, and just be like, my night is off. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe these balls, something, make up some excuse as to why I'm losing. But if just by chance I win, I want to see how you respond to that. Because if you beat me, I'm just gonna make up an excuse as to why I lost. But if I happen to beat you, how are you gonna respond to that? How would that make you feel? I need to see that. And I just generally just want to have fun. And a lot of men don't know how to relax and have fun. They just don't. And so that's a bother for me. It's a bother.
Yeah, so it's important, y'all.
It is.
Women and men,
Yep.
to gather that data, have those conversations, be open and evaluate. Accept what you see in the moment.
Be present.
It's not about potential, it's about purpose.
That's right.
Everybody has potential to do something great.
Yeah.
But the reality is it likely to happen?
That's the part. That's the question right there. That's the question of the hour.
And sometimes we try to justify, oh, well, no. Let's just be honest and be like, yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. And again, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's, y'all, I know I keep saying it, but it's truly, seriously, okay. If it does not work out when you're collecting that data, if it does not work out, it's okay. Well, I just, thank you so much for the interest, but I, based off of our conversations, I don't believe that we will be a good match. And I hope you find someone that will match well with you. If you want, we could be friends. If not, then I'm okay with us ending right here and there. That's okay. Be adult and have the conversation, because you rather, and if you don't, it's stringing somebody along, giving them false hope. And you don't want that.
Don't be a sore loser.
That happened to me. I was strung along with false hope. That's why I do not do it. I will not do it. I'm upfront. You know what? I thank you for your interest, but given our recent conversations, I'm no longer interested in you. Has there been some, you fat, I'm just trying to show fat girls love and all that? Bruh. Don't let this weight fool you. Don't do it, honey. Don't do it. So it has been, some of that has come, but the most, I tell a guy, I'm not interested. Thank you for, whatever have you. Oh, okay. They're gone. They're okay. That's all I'll get. Okay. And then some go for the jugular with the insults, but you came for me, sir. Remember that, but it's all about definitely collecting that data and then making a determination, like you said before. Do I want to proceed with this? Is this good for me?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not, it's okay. Like,
yes,
I'm gonna give me a shirt that says it's okay. I'm gonna make a shirt that says it's okay.
It's not the end of the world, y'all. I promise it ain't. I know sometimes it may feel like it because we invest too much too early, and we feel like I need a return on my investment.
No,
it's not worth it. Sometimes you have to cut your losses and keep it moving.
Yeah. And
if you gotta lose to win.
And it, like you said, investments, even if it's like when you are investing money, you gotta, before you just be like, somebody walk up to you and be like, Shantae, girl, I need $2,000 to invest in my business. Okay, where's your business plan? I don't have one, but I can start this t-shirt business. How do you plan to market and promote? Instagram. No business plan. Your only marketing is Instagram. You will not be getting my $2,000. Your time and your effort should be considered like currency. If I'm putting it out, I need a return on my investment. But before I give something too much of my time. I want to make sure it's worth it. I need to make sure it's worth it. And I think we don't, because it's time and we may not see it as money. Because if somebody came up on the street and said, yo, let me get $50, I don't even know you. Like, what do you mean? You need to treat your love life like somebody's asking you for money. Like, yo, can I take you on a date? For what? Like, I don't even, the way you came at me, I'm not even comfortable with that. Oh, sidebar, that too. I have men come for me, and if I don't like how they come for me, oh, I'm not interested, but thank you. Because your approach was wrong. Do you want to try again? Please feel free to. But no, I'm okay. And I know it's like, oh, that's petty. He may not. You just have to have common sense when you approach a woman. You know what I mean? And if it's not there, if it doesn't, because that just tells me of how further conversations are going to be and how your further pursuit of me will be in a manner which I will not like or accept. And so there's no need for me to let you in at the gate. No, I'm not investing in this because you don't have a business plan. I'm okay. And you should be okay too. It's okay. treat your relationships like, I don't want to say treat it like it is an investment, but I would say before you invest, vet the thing that you're investing in. Is this going to be worth your time? And if any part of you says that's not it, then it's not it. And it's okay.
And it's okay. I love it. I love it. So again, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to us. Ebony, thank you again. I have enjoyed our conversation on tonight. This has been a great kickoff. It has really set the bar for the next 2 weeks. And I know the next 2 weeks are going to be amazing. So you guys, listen, join me every Tuesday evening this entire month of December at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time for Dear Single Woman Conversations. As I am kicking off these conversations and promotion of my upcoming book, Dear Single Woman. And I'm super excited about that. So you guys can go ahead and pre-order it now. They will be shipping out next month. I am so excited. It has been a delayed book, but it has been on purpose. It's definitely been some lessons, some things I had to live through. I had to get clarity and the direction of just how this book needed to be written. And so I'm excited. I got to get some stuff back to my editor so that I can get this wrapped up. So I am super excited, and I thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. Ebony, tell everybody how they can follow you, how they can get in contact with you, and all that good stuff.
Yes, absolutely. So Coach Ebony Nicole, you can find me on social media under that. Just do the @ on Instagram at Coach Ebony Nicole, on Facebook at Coach Ebony Nicole. Again, I am the writing coach and publishing engineer. I help people go from idea to physical book in hand. I am also a 12-time published author. I have I just released on the 19th of last month, my memoir titled Heart Attacks Happen, a memoir on love and relationships, lessons from my father, the men I loved, and from the Father above. And we were talking about accountability. That was one of the things that I had to learn in my journey to becoming a healed woman, was how to be accountable for things I did in the failing of the relationships that I had. And then one thing I recognize, and I'll just say this, if my relationship with God was hindered because of the relationship I had with my father, I never recognized that until it was like, oh my God, the reason why I'm having trust issues with God and not believing he'll come through for me is because I had trust issues with my daddy because he didn't come through for me. And then it just, between my father and God and the men in between that, it was like, oh, that's the common thread.
Yep, it happens.
It does happen. So that's one of my books. I have many others on my website, which is my name, Ebony Nicole Smith. You can go on there to find out more about what my services and my products. And I look forward to, connecting with people. I'm all open for it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys listen, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I am Shantae Williams and we are signing off until next Tuesday, y'all. Listen, don't forget, gather the data. All right? Gather
Please.
the data before you make ownership. Okay? Gather the data because guess what? It's okay.
It's okay.
All right, y'all have a great night.